Welcome to the HireLearning podcast, the show where ambition meets strategy. This is your go-to space for career truth, financial empowerment, leadership growth, and real conversations that are unfiltered and uncut. If you're ready to elevate your career, confidence, and future, then you're in the right place. Join our co-hosts, HR professionals Yolanda, Aaron, and Caroline, right here, right now, for an episode of HireLearning. Welcome back to another episode of HireLearning.
Hey, everybody.
We have Aaron.
Hey, your girl Aaron, your trusted human resources business partner.
Caroline.
And I'm Caroline, your trusted risk management and branding.
And I'm Yolanda. We're all here to support you.
So today we are going to be talking about branding. And we have our resident branding expert with us, Caroline.
Hey.
So Caroline.
Yes.
What does it do? How do you brand yourself? What is branding? Share with us.
Absolutely, and delighted to be here for another episode. Thank you so much for joining us. When we talk about branding, right, I define it very simply. How you show up. How do you show up? When people think of you, what immediately comes to mind? Okay, when you walk into a room, you are a representation of your brand. Okay, so it's not just necessarily how you show up physically. How do you show up at the workplace? Are you the type that shows up, 30 minutes early each and every day? Folks can rely on you to be one of the first ones in. Just bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. You're a morning person, right?
I am not.
Neither am I.
I am.
The resident morning person is Yolanda. So Yolanda, give us an example of how your brand in terms of you as a morning person, how do you typically show up?
Well, you know what? My brand is not just me, how I glow, or what I'm wearing. It's in my work. I think of my brand as, what do you find on my resume? Okay. How does my resume speak for me? The most important decisions are made about you when you're not in the room. Are you going to get that promotion? Are you going to get a demotion? Are you going to get a raise? Are you going to get an opportunity to represent the company that you work for or a particular industry? And so the way I want my brand to be is to be remembered.
Okay.
Whether it's on paper or whether it's by face.
Okay. And Aaron, when we talk about brand and when we think of Aaron, what does that mean?
Well, as I introduce myself as a trusted human resources business partner, and I truly do mean that. That is my brand. That is what I've built my career on, specifically federal HR.
Okay.
But I show up in a space, and if you have a question about anything human resources related in the federal government, I am your girl. And I tell people that all the time. So my brand is, like you said, Yolanda, my work, my knowledge, my experience, my skill set, the things that I offer, and hopefully my personality that
Absolutely.
People say that I'm easy to talk to and they like. So people are always in my office talking, but hey, I listen. So there's that.
Yeah. Absolutely. And that's very important that when you show up, people already have somewhat of an idea of who you are, right? They can either have that idea from your resume, but as you and Yolanda indicate, your resume isn't the only criteria or the only definer of who you are. How you represent yourself is your brand. And the benefit of owning your brand, the benefit of establishing early in your career your UVP, your unique value proposition, okay? Those key indicators are critical as you navigate through your career, whether you're just starting out, whether you're mid-cycle in your career and you're transitioning or pivoting to something totally new. You want to do a self-assessment and evaluate what unique qualities, what unique skills. When I walk into a room as an asset, what can I provide in service to this employer?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, absolutely. I think it's just not how you show up. It's when you show up, it's your availability to be present all the time. And you can be counted on.
Mm-hmm.
I think you have to leave an impression of positivity. I think that's where I have established myself in my career. It's because people know that they pretty much can count on me. Now, I've had to manage people thinking that they could count on me. But I feel that my work really speaks for me. My work is everything to me. And what I mean by that, I've worked at organizations where I created documents or presentations, and they still utilize them when I leave. And I've seen them reappear. And I know that that was my work. I could look at something and tell if it was my work. And that's really important to me. And that's what I believe my brand is.
Yeah.
When I think of brand, I'm not going to hold you. I was thinking about like, I don't know, big names such as, I don't know, Pepsi or Walmart or whatever. But it is important to understand that even as an individual, you have a brand. And what is that?
Well, even something like Pepsi, and some people might like Coke, but there's a flavor to it. It's a taste. And so the brand is not just on the can itself. It's just not on the presentation. It's on the value and the quality and the taste. And so
the company
exactly.
People canceling things and brands left and right nowadays.
So the brand is not only the name, it's the experience. When you walk in a room, what experience are you bringing into that room? Are people familiar with your brand? If they're not, and they are eager to know more about you, what does that look like in terms of a 30-second pitch? I like to, when talking about branding, when talking about creating your brand, I've also worked with folks that needed to rebrand themselves, switching careers, or just looking to make a change, right? So in their basic questions, I advise keep your brand simple. Use the approach, just ask yourself in terms of what unique skills can I bring into this organization? What is my impact when I walk in that room? And as Yolanda and you both, Aaron, say, what is the memory? What is the thought when I'm not in the room? That speaks volumes. Bless you.
Excuse me.
So when you're branding, when you're thinking about your brand, you don't want to make the process very complex, but you do want to be aware of your current state. When I look at my digital footprint, when I Google myself, what's out there? I encourage all of us, regardless of where you are in your career, Google yourself. You would be remiss to find out when you Google yourself sometimes what your digital, that gives you insight into what your digital footprint looks like. And in this arena of AI, in this arena of technological advances, in this arena of everything being viral and online, you want to do a self-assessment and ensure that the information that is out there in terms of your digital footprint is accurate. If there are some unfortunate situations where there is some untruths or some not so reputable images or what have you out there, then you want to do a scrub and take the necessary steps to ensure that your digital footprint makes sense and is a good representation of your brand.
I'm so glad that you mentioned that, because to all our high schoolers and college-bound students, they really need to understand that these schools and these jobs are looking at social media to find you. Wow. They want to know how you represent them, how you represent yourself, because they want to know how you're going to represent them. Even the colleges want to know how you represent.
Absolutely.
How are you in your community? How are you in your own space? What are you selling out to the world? And so I know we like to do fun things and we like to post everything, but everything don't need to be posted. Some things you need to keep for yourself and understand that people are looking at you and they want to know about you. But what brand are you selling?
Absolutely. When we're talking especially about spring break, it's spring break season, okay? And whether you are going to travel near or far, or what have you, or if you're going to be at home and enjoying yourself with your friends, again, this is also, in addition to it being spring break season, it's also internship and job hunting season.
Yes, it is.
So when we're talking about HR professionals such as you, Aaron, it is not abnormal for a Google search to reveal what you did during spring break. And talk a little bit about what some of those revelations may result in.
You know what? As like you said, when people are looking at internships or hiring managers are hiring students and interns for their positions, they are checking. You'd be surprised. Not only are they checking your social media feeds, your Facebook pages, your Instagram, they're also checking those grades. So just make sure that those transcripts got good grades on them, because I've seen a lot of hiring managers make decisions based on someone's transcript, whether or not they're going to hire somebody.
Right.
They withdrew from too many classes. They're not reliable. I'm not picking them. Really. So just be careful, students.
Absolutely. When you're talking again about your brand, your career brand doesn't start when you are mid-career. It starts now in the early stages of your career, and you want to ensure that you're doing your due diligence and you are doing your best to represent yourself in the best manner professionally. Why is that important? It's important because you want to go out there and you want to earn and receive that job opportunity, and you want to earn the most money that you can. So you want to be mindful and ensure that you're making the proper decisions in terms of that digital footprint, so it doesn't impede your ability to earn that great salary.
Yes, and part of branding is also truth. A lot of times when you are filling out applications and they'll ask you, have you had any criminal discrepancies or anything that they should know about? It's better to tell the truth, because if they find out different later, that could harm you. But if you tell the truth up front, and even if you have a good explanation for whatever that truth is, it's better that it's said up front honestly, because then they know that your brand is an honest place to be. And you could get hired just based on truth.
Right. Truth, authenticity, transparency. All of these are core skills that I hold dear. And in developing and rebranding myself, sometimes I evaluate and reevaluate what my core values are. So if you're just starting out as a high school recent graduate, college recent graduate, going on to graduate school, law school, or what have you, you may want to explore and research, what are some of my core values? When I'm giving my 30-second pitch or what have you to that new hiring manager, I just joined a team, come up with maybe a 15-second, 20-second pitch about who you are and what value you bring to this new organization. That's part of branding.
Absolutely. Any last words, Erin?
Well, always just be cognizant, be mindful of how you show up in a space, like Caroline is saying, and just know that you do add value and trust yourself with that.
Yes. Thank you for joining us on HireLearning today. Don't forget to watch every episode, to subscribe and share.
Thank you.
Thank you.
See you next time.
Bye.